Well, I want to discuss the leadership of Julius Malema in terms of him supporting his colleagues, the people who occupies various positions in the leadership of the EFF, the way he is readily available whenever they are faced with difficult situations or unfortunate events, especially funerals. The CIC doesn't just speak about or sending condolences from far. He makes sure that he visits the families of his colleagues and he comforts them. He takes them through the whole process. Where there is a need, he also contributes through the EFF to arrange funerals. We've seen with the recent one of Hillary Gadi, where the EFF took charge and pressurized the SAPS to make sure that the accused are arrested and appear in court and make sure that they don't get any bail until the trial starts or until the case comes to an end. But the CIC have long been doing these things. If you have been following his leadership, you will therefore then understand the type of leader that he is, because he doesn't support his people in cases of unfortunate events only. He is also available whenever they are facing challenges, maybe financial challenges. We've seen this again in the case of Godrich Gadi, where he had to leave parliament to go and pursue his dream of being a lawyer, because he had to study LLB, he had to serve articles and things like that. Upon him graduating, if you have heard the speech of Julius Malema, you will have realized that he said that it was not easy for the Gadi family to accept that decision, the decision that Godrich Gadi must leave parliament and go and become a lawyer, because there were some financial constraints, and the CIC still advised him to pursue that career and to see to it that it progresses. So today Godrich is a lawyer through the support of the CIC, and they are still in good terms. We've seen it recently in the funeral of his daughter. So the EFF leader is not that jealous. A lot of leaders in their circle, they keep people who they know that they will control, who they know that financially these people are below them, who they know that in terms of education, the leader is the most qualified. So in the case of the EFF and the CIC Julius Malema, its leader, that is not the case. Julius Malema is surrounded by experienced lawyers. He's surrounded by people with PhDs who have studied better than him. He's surrounded by doctors and philosophers. So he is not jealous about the success of anyone around him, and he always supports them whenever there is a need. So I think a lot of us can draw from the CIC a lot of leadership qualities, because from far a lot of people are saying that Julius Malema is a dictator, but whenever his colleagues want to make moves, to occupy positions in other faculties, Julius Malema never refused. If you want to go and study, become something and go somewhere, I've never had a case where they said, no, Malema refused for this member to occupy a certain position or to pursue a career elsewhere. It has never been the case. Actually, they support him through the EFF's leadership, and the CIC will always congratulate people. If you check his Twitter account, you realize that he is always celebrating the success of his circles, because he surrounds himself with people who are destined for greater things, and they always achieve. So I think we can learn a lot from that style of leadership, because it produces more leaders. You know, a lot of people don't have to be political leaders to show that they've been produced by Malema, or they come under his leadership. They can be leaders in other fields. So we have lecturers who were once, EFF members, and who once occupied the positions of leadership within the EFF organization. We have business people who were once active in the EFF leadership. So I've never heard Malema speaking bad about the people who once occupied certain positions and now they are not there. I mean, he even tries to create new positions in the EFF to make sure that those who did not make it in the previous conference are at least catered for, and they are still eating in the EFF. So I think that's a kind of leader that we can draw a lot of lessons from, because a lot of people are reading propaganda news or information from media houses that are against him. So they always publish information that will portray Malema as a bad leader. They always look for something negative. And I think as black and young people of South Africa, we should try and look at the positive things from this type of leaders, because we will lose a lot of motivation if these leaders, surrounded by these propaganda media houses, are then destroyed in our presence, and we celebrate such. But we should ask ourselves, what is it that will benefit if a person of Malema's caliber is brought to the ground? Because that is what these propaganda media houses are trying to do. They don't want a successful young black leader to emerge. And they use our own brothers and sisters who are employees of these propaganda machineries to destroy such leaders. And when we allow that, it means one day we are going to occupy these leadership positions and we will be challenged. And it will look like it is a norm that when a certain media house doesn't like you, it destroys you and no one can do anything about it. So I think we should dig information on our own, and we should hear these people speak whenever we are with them. They are very open. Whenever we are with them, we should ask for clarities in things that we don't understand, or to clarify the negative information that we had. So other than that, I believe that we can draw a lot of lessons from Malema's side in terms of him supporting his people. Julius Malema has supported not only the people who occupies high-level positions in the EFF, but ordinary people who need assistance. Yeah, through the EFF, he has led the EFF to build a lot of beautiful houses, for people who couldn't afford. He has took to university a lot of young girls and boys, who some of them are now pilots through his leadership. And he is trying to show South Africa that We don't have to wait for the ruling party or government to help us or to help people. Actually, with the little information and monetary values that we have, we can make a difference. So if you can check Julius Malema's leadership and check the positive side, you can be a leader yourself. If you can check the way he was destroyed and the way he came back, and I think he went to work in parliament earlier than he should or he would have had he was not fired or expelled by our current president Ramaphosa from the ANC Youth League, which led to its disbandment, and now it's nowhere to be found, because the leadership of Ronald Lamola, Malema, Floyd Shibamba and the others, those were the last generation to lead the ANC Youth League that had teeth. Other than that, the following leadership it lacked tooth. So it lacked canines, it couldn't bite. So I think the ANC has lost, the Youth League have lost, and then the youth of South Africa nearly lost direction. I understand that under the leadership of the ruling party, still government is not providing enough for us. But I think had Julius Malema and others did not found the EFF, the youth will be dwelling in much more worse problems than we are now, because they came into parliament and exposed a lot of things that we did not know as the youth and as black people of South Africa. And then we started to engage, we started to follow, we started to tweet about these things, we started to understand how parliament works, and then we started to follow politics, and we started to engage other youth, even form part of the leadership. We have seen the youngest people occupying positions in parliament. We have seen the president appointing people like Ronald Lamola to be minister, because the EFF took to parliament young people. Ndlozi was very young when he started working in parliament, representing the EFF as an MP. So it sort of challenged the leadership of the ANC to try and bring in the youth, and for us to believe that some positions we will not have to wait to be 55 to occupy. We will occupy them in our 30s, in our 20s, and things like that. And we can eventually retire at 40 and not wait for 60. So the leadership of Julius Malema has brought about a lot of changes in South Africa. And if you think you can dispute that, then that's your view, that's your problem. But I believe that he still has an impact. And if we could try and have more Julius Malemas from each province, I think South Africa can head to a success in terms of politics, strong policy implementation, and a very strong economy, competitive economy. So that is my view. I think I might have omitted a lot of examples that could grab various people's attention, but other than that, I think for now I can cut it here. But I encourage a lot of you to dig information about Julius Malema and learn from him, and be good leaders. This can also apply not only to young people, but even old people who do not understand the roles that they have to play when they occupy leadership positions, because we have that problem. There are people who are lucky to be employed into positions that need strategies, that need leadership qualities, but these people are not leaders themselves. So I think if they can study the way Julius Malema leads and all other leaders, they can learn one or two things to do in office, so that they don't go there and idle and eventually be depressed and then renders the office useless. So it's not all about young people, it's also about old people. Because when I check, I found out that a lot of people who are of Julius Malema's age and those who are older than him still want to treat him as young. I mean, the man is more than 40 years old. You can't say he's a young man. He's very old. I think if you read about Thomas Sankara, you realize that he was a president at a very young age, which means it is possible for a person like Julius Malema to be president, or a person who is not even 30 to be president. Because there is a problem when a person who's 58 occupies a leadership position. Who's going to advise that person? Because when these old people occupies leadership positions at a later stage in their lives, they want young people to do the work, which means they can see that they are no longer fit to occupy these positions. Then they want us to do the work, which means we ourselves can be leaders, can occupy those positions and do the work from the correct office and the right chair. But we are oppressed because we are not engaging as the youth, we are not challenging anything, we are just followers. So I believe that we must challenge whatever that we don't understand, and we must participate in various organizations, and when opportunities arises, we must take leadership positions. Thank you.